Imagine a bombshell dropping in the heart of hip-hop, a scandal so raw it could rewrite the legacy of one of the genre's most iconic crews. The story begins not in a studio or on a stage, but in a dimly lit hotel hallway in Miami, captured by grainy security footage that no one was ever supposed to see. The players? Remy Ma, Fat Joe, and Papoose, names that carry weight in the Bronx and beyond, tied together by music, loyalty, and now betrayal. This isn't just another rumor floating through the blogs. This is a tale of leaked footage, hidden emails, and whispered secrets that could unravel the very foundation of Terror Squad's legacy. Let's dive into the mess, piece by piece, and uncover what might be the greatest betrayal in hip-hop history. It starts with a file innocently named 7th Floor Miami, timestamped April 3, 2011, discovered on an old iPad that Remy may use during her parole days. Papoose, her husband, the man who stood by her through prison and public scrutiny, found it while clearing out old devices. The footage shows two figures slipping past a hotel lobby at 2:17 a.m., no entourage, no cameras, just them. The check-in receipt, uncovered later, bears the name Joseph Cartagena, Fat Joe's real name, next to reminisce Mackie Remy's. The metadata confirms the location, Fontainebleau Hotel, Miami Beach. They enter a suite and don't emerge until morning. This isn't speculation. This is cold, hard evidence, and it came not from a hacker or a gossip site, but from Papoose himself, who stumbled upon it by chance. Or so the story goes. The discovery sent shockwaves through Papoose's world. Sources close to him say he didn't confront Remy immediately. Instead, he sat with the pain, the kind that cuts deeper than any diss track. Papoose, known for his loyalty, his bars, and his unshakable calm, went silent. But silence in hip-hop is never just silence, it's a prelude to something bigger. He started digging, making calls to old tour managers, engineers, and assistants, piecing together a puzzle no one wanted to solve. The footage wasn't just a one-off. It was a window into a history that had been buried under Grammys, gold chains, and the carefully curated image of Terror Squad's family bond. Remy and Fat Joe go way back, their connection forged in the gritty Bronx street battles of the late 90s. She was Big Pun's protege, handpicked by the legend himself, and when Pun passed in 2000, Fat Joe stepped in. He wasn't just a mentor, he was a protector, offering studio time, industry clout, and according to whispers, something far more personal. The industry painted them as brother and sister, a narrative they leaned into publicly. But behind closed doors, sources say the bond was never that simple. A former security guard from Summer Jam 2002 recalls Joe never leaving Remy's side, acting like they were married. At the time, Remy was dating someone else, not Papoose yet, but her loyalty to Joe was undeniable. Insiders describe their chemistry as electric, the kind that spilled over from the booth to late-night sessions that weren't just about music. By 2004, Lean Back was dominating the charts, cementing Terror Squad's place in hip-hop history. But behind the anthem, there was tension, creative, sure, but also personal. Multiple insiders now claim Remy and Joe shared moments that went beyond mentorship. An anonymous engineer remembers nights when they'd emerge from the studio holding hands, only to brush it off if anyone noticed. No one spoke up though. Fat Joe was the boss, the one who called the shots, and Remy was his ride or die. Questioning their bond was like questioning the sky being blue. It just wasn't done. Then came 2007, when Remy's world turned upside down. Arrested and sentenced to 8 years for assault, she faced a trial that tested her inner circle. Papoose stood by her, publicly writing letters and repping her name like a badge of honor. The media ate it up, painting him as the ultimate loyal husband. But what didn't make headlines were Fat Joe's visits to Rikers Island. Leaked visitor logs, verified by sources, show Joseph Cartagena signing in 5 times between 2008 and 2009 under coded aliases. These weren't publicized trips, no cameras, no press, just Joe showing up quietly. A former prison staffer describes him as calm but intense, like he was carrying a weight he couldn't share. The visits coincided with key moments in Remy's life, including her transfer to Bedford Hills Correctional. What was he doing there? Was he just checking on his friend, or was there more to those emotional, off-the-record meetings? Remy herself dropped a hint years later in a post-release interview. When asked who she missed most in prison, she said, "Some people surprised me with how much they cared." Her eyes told a story her words didn't, and the host didn't press further. But the logs don't lie. While Papoose was holding it down publicly, Joe was there in the shadows, and the question lingers, what didn't Papoose know? Fast forward to the Miami footage. The file labeled 7th floor Miami shows Joe entering a suite, Remy following seconds later. No crew, no stylists, just them. The source close to Papoose says he was shaken to his core, but he didn't explode. That's not his style. Instead, he reached out to someone who knew both Remy and Joe intimately, Remy's former stylist, who left Terror Squad in 2012 under murky circumstances. She didn't hold back. According to a source who overheard the call, she told Papoose that Joe was obsessed with Remy. It was never just music, she said. He canceled sessions if she wasn't there. She made him feel relevant again. She even mentioned a 2006 Puerto Rico trip where Remy and Joe were allegedly spotted on a private yacht long after the crew had left. The whispers were starting to sound like screams. Papoose took it further, confronting Fat Joe privately. Joe's response? Cryptic and chilling. "It ain't what you think, Pap, but you don't want to go down that road." That wasn't a denial, it was a deflection, the kind that raises more questions than it answers. Papoose, undeterred, kept digging. He found an email from 2011 addressed to a private Gmail under Remy's nickname, signed simply J. It read, "Miami was different. We can't keep playing like this didn't happen. You know I'd do anything for you." The metadata traced the IP to a Bronx studio leased by Terror Squad Entertainment. If it wasn't Fat Joe, it was someone using his network, his space, his world. The streets started talking. Underground podcasts dropped blind items about a platinum-selling NYC rapper and a queen with too many kings. Twitter exploded with hashtags like #JoeAndremy and #PapDeservesBetter after a since-deleted tweet from someone claiming to be in the know. Fans speculated, Reddit threads multiplied, and screenshots of old interviews resurfaced. One from 2005 shows Joe in a Terror Squad DVD leaning into Remy and saying, "I'll ride for her till the wheels fall off. That's my heart." Back then, it was seen as brotherly love. Now, it feels like a confession hidden in plain sight. Remy stayed silent, her Instagram shifting from studio clips and black love posts to a single word, "Sorry." No context, no hashtags, just that. Papoose's last post, untouched, reads, "Loyalty is only real when it's tested." No sign of Remy on his page. Fat Joe, usually quick with a response, went radio silent. The absence of his voice, the man who never stops talking, spoke volumes. But the real gut punch came with rumors of a second file, Room 714 full. Sources say it picks up 4 minutes after Remy and Joe enter the suite. No music, no party, just a dim hallway light and an untouched room service tray. The audio is faint but clear. Joe's voice, "You know what this is?" Remy's reply, "It was never supposed to go this far." 10 words that turned gray into black and white. This wasn't a mistake. It was intentional, hidden, and real. Papoose reportedly paused the video, walked out, and didn't return for hours. When he did, he was a ghost of himself. The leak didn't stay quiet. Within a day, hip-hop media was buzzing. Radio hosts hinted at a power couple in trouble and a Bronx legend at the center. Joe's team went into overdrive, issuing takedowns and scrubbing clips before they could spread. Remy's social media shifted again, no more selfies, just silence. Papoose, meanwhile, was spotted at open mic nights, no ring, just a notebook. Insiders say he moved into a midtown apartment, needing space to think. Then came the bombshell. The footage wasn't just on the iPad. Papoose had a backup and someone, nobody knows who, sent it to a documentary house. A 4-part series, tentatively titled Remy and Joe, The Real Story, is reportedly in the works. This isn't gossip anymore. It's streaming content, the kind that defines legacies. Brands are pulling back, Remy's hair care deal is dead, and Joe's tour is facing PR nightmares. NDAs are flying, but the damage is done.